Good morning. Welcome to Friday, August 8th, the Daily Echo. It is one day before Marcus Lane's birthday, my oldest son. So tomorrow we'll have a special Echo. I'm excited to talk about the topic today. We could have 30 Daily Echoes on the topic we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about fear, spelled F-E-A-R. And the acrostic for fear, many of you have heard many times, false evidence that appears real. Many of the things that we fear are just in our mind because we think what's going to happen, when in reality there's no factual basis for what we're afraid of. We are born with two fears when we come into this earth. We are born of the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. If you watch babies and you're around small children, noises startle them very quickly. Those are the two fears that we have. I want to talk about a few things. I've written a few notes here. There was a second grade boy once heard coming home from school saying, it's easy to be brave when you're not scared. By the same token, it's easy to talk about how to overcome fear when we have little to be afraid of. Fear is certainly a reality for most of us. Now, what do we fear? Number one fear is speaking, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Public speaking is the number one fear people have. In fact, many people would rather die than speak in public. Poverty, divorce, rejection, death, failure, being laughed at. How many people are afraid of being laughed at? How many things do we not do because we're afraid of being rejected or we're afraid of being laughed at? So the key is once we understand that we all have fears, is how do we overcome these fears? The first thing we have to do is we have to recognize and examine what that fear is. So let's take an example of giving a public speech. Number one fear in the country, according to Reader's Digest and other publications. So why do we fear public speaking? Is it because I'm afraid of being rejected? Then we have to look, why do I think I'll be rejected? Do I believe what I'm going to say when I'm giving the speech? Is my speech worth giving? Am I proud of the comments I'm about to make? You ask these questions in delving into the fear. What is it that I'm afraid of? As you begin to do this, and this is just one example, a speech. We need to do this with everything. You get an audit from the IRS. You have to delve into that. It's just going to sit there and create bigger problems until you deal with the actual fear, because the fear itself, or what you think it is not really what it is. You have to uncover it like peeling an onion. The fear begins to subside. It subsides because you've explored the subconscious part of our brain with questions, and you've flushed out many of the fears because now you're starting to look at what reality is. So it's very important to understand that. So I want you to move forward with fear, understand that. Think about a public speaker, the number one fear. Our research indicates 3 people that we know of have died from public speaking. Now, a lot of you are laughing, but I mean, how many people have lived on this earth? We've had 12 billion people. I'm not sure. Those are 3 people. And yet it's the number one fear. We have all of these people afraid to speak, when in reality, 3 people. I mean, the percentages of that are so light. Most of our fears are not what we think they are. So as you go forward today, through the weekend, through next week, start to examine your fears, uncover them, get to the bottom of them, make a list, figure out how to fix them. It's amazing what it'll do for you. Have a great Friday. Enjoy your family this weekend. As always, thanks for tuning in to the Daily Echo.